Now we shift to the chief instructor of this course, Dr. Manpreet Kaur from RP Center, because there are so many Manpreet Kaur nowadays in ophthalmology. So she's from RP Center, AIIMS, New Delhi, and she's going to talk about the problems faced, especially in smile suction loss and how to manage.
Thank you, sir. So I'll be talking about when it's difficult to smile, suction loss and retained lenticule. There are no financial disclosures. So smile is, of course, as we all know, surgically challenging as compared to flap-based corneal ablation procedures, and lenticule dissection and extraction happens to be the most challenging step. So the process of docking, it's a soft docking interface which accurvates the cornea rather than applanates it. So a low pressure suction cone generates 35 millimeter of mercury pressure at the interface with a maximum IOP rise of 30 to 80 mm, and there is a longer suction time of 25 to 28 seconds. So the incidence of suction loss may be as high as 11% for novice surgeons. So how do you manage a suction loss? You have to, of course, identify the underlying cause and the stage of suction loss. So less than 10% of lenticule cut, you are safe, you can redock and restart the procedure. More than 10% of lenticule cut is where the real challenge lies, because there is no rescue mode to just restart the procedure from that point, and you have to convert to a surface ablation or LASIK at the same or later setting. Lenticule side cut, cap cut and cap side cut are relatively easier to manage. You can redock and repeat from the stage at which the suction loss occurred by gently altering the lenticule diameter and the cap diameter based on the stage at which the suction loss occurred. So this is a case in which excessive movements by the patient led to suction loss after 2.81 mm of the lenticule cut had been completed. So off note, just keep a look in the periphery. As you can see, the conjunctiva had come. So it's better to stop rather than continue pressing the foot pedal, because managing this suction loss is much more challenging than had you had to redock and just do the procedure again. So retreatment after 3 months, a nasal hinge based femtosecond LASIK was done, because more than 10% lenticule cut, you cannot really go ahead with a smile. This is a second case in which docking was uneventful. Again, for beginners, for all surgeons, you should keep a look in the periphery. As you can see, the suction loss is now imminent. Stop now rather than misfiring the laser. So this has occurred at the stage of cap cut. So there is a rescue mode present in the machine itself. At this point, you can redock and restart from the stage of cap cut only. So we just clean the interface, redock, use the OBL as an aid to centration, because you cannot really see the pupil now. So this OBL where we had started with the cap cut is used as an aid to centration. So some people advocate waiting a couple of hours for the OBL to disappear. I think immediate redocking is much better. The lenticule is then created uneventfully. Of course, you have to counsel the patient not to move again. 2 suction losses will be very challenging to manage. So lenticule dissection and extraction is uneventful. You do have more micro adhesions and slight difficulty in dissection, otherwise it goes well enough. Difficult lenticule dissection is the bane of all beginners with refractive lenticule extraction. Sometimes you dissect the anterior plane first, as is convention, and you just cannot find the posterior plane when you are beginning. More commonly, when you dissect the posterior plane first, you have a cap lenticular adhesion, and this is when you face a challenge in identifying and dissecting the anterior plane, and forceful dissection and an attempt to identify the plane lead to retained lenticule, delayed visual recovery, cap and side cut tears, posterior stromal damage, epithelial defects and irregular astigmatism. Prevention, of course, is better than cure. So we have described the meniscus sign to identify the lenticule edge in smile. So what you do is you just delineate the anterior and posterior channels, and while you are delineating the posterior channel in the beginning, just push the lenticule gently away from yourself and you see a meniscus shaped gap. So if the instrument is below in the posterior plane, this meniscus will be seen clearly, and while you are in the anterior plane, of course the meniscus will not be prominently visible. So this has helped us to diagnose misdirected entry before we have ended up with a cap lenticular adhesion. Sometimes you will end up with a cap lenticular adhesion despite the best of your intentions. So ASOCT can help as a rescue tool. You can see here that the posterior plane has been dissected and the anterior has been not. So just go in with a blunt tipped instrument like a Sinskey, a fine instrument. gently try to nudge off the lenticule from the overlying cap. So your direction is reversed, and if you can identify a meniscus gap, the lenticule is peeling off, you of course know that it's been stuck to the cap, and then you can gently peel it off. So this is a case in which there was a cap lenticular adhesion. So as I gently peel off, I know that the lenticule is stuck to the cap. Just delineate an anterior channel. Detection is more important than the subsequent management, because once you know that this is the plane you have to go into, subsequent dissection is easy. So it's more of it's all in the mind, and the fear that we had earlier with cap lenticular adhesion does not remain now. Even if we end up dissecting posteriorly first, we are very confident that the lenticle will come out with ease, even without a forceps, as in this case. It just gently, smoothly slides out. You just have to know where you are and where you have to go next. So it's a potential surgical nightmare if not managed properly. Of course, you can end up with cap tears, side cut tears, stromal damage, and retained lenticle fragments. But if you know which plane you are in, you can manage it properly. So we have also described the double crescentic edge separation for management of cap lenticular adhesion. More difficult to manage than a completely retained lenticule inability to find a plane is a retained lenticule fragment. So sometimes when your dissection is not complete and you still try to take out the lenticule with the forceps, you can end up with a retained fragment. So you can see the stress line over here. You should ideally stop and dissect. So these retained lenticule fragments are very difficult to fish out. Triamcinolone has been described to aid in the visualization and take them out, but they do end up causing irregular astigmatism. Customized surface ablation may be planned, but the visual quality and the higher order aberrations are not going to be as good as in a clean case. So stepwise management algorithm for difficult identification of correct dissection plane in SMILE has been described by us, in which you just eliminate the options sequentially, and if you are still stuck, abandon the surgery and retreat at a later date and call for help rather than damaging the stroma. Cap tears and side cut tears almost ubiquitously occur when you are initially starting out with SMILE. If they are not involving the visual axis, the cap tears can be managed with BCL and lubricants quite well with no long-term adverse visual impacts. Side cut tears do not really affect the visual acuity. However, you don't really want to end up with a half flap when you were aiming for a cap. So initially our thinking was that you should have a patient selection of higher magnitude of refractive errors when you're beginning. With time we have realized that the edge is going to be 15 to 20 microns only. The lenticule may be thicker and thinner, so manipulations, you may have a tactile feel better in a 4 diopter than a 2 diopter, but you have to identify the lenticule edge, which the process is going to be same if it's a higher magnitude of refractive error or lesser. So avoiding low refractive errors is not really going to help you refine your technique that much. Microscope integrated IOCT is another useful guide in SMILE in which you can see in real time the interfaces. So just to sum up, the initial learning curve is surgically challenging. During laser application, you can have suction loss, black spots and opaque bubble layer. During lenticule dissection, you can have a misdissection, cap lenticular adhesion, cap and side cut tears and retained lenticule and fragments. Prevention is better than cure. However, complications are inevitable, and timely detection and management will give both the patient and the surgeon a reason to smile. Thank you for a patient hearing.
Thank you, Dr. Manpreet, for showing us such a wonderful videos, managing those complications so nicely. In the meantime, we'd like to invite Dr. Suresh to put up his presentation. Dr. Manpreet, now we have so many, lenticule-based platforms has come up. Would these complications be similar in those cases also, like especially suction loss?
So since their suction time is much less, it's expected that it will be less, the incidence, and even with Visumax Pro, these are the 500 cases. With 800, the suction time is reduced to less than 10 seconds. So the incidence of suction loss is expected to go down.
Like now you are experienced in a SMILE surgery. Do you think the suction loss is still a challenge?
Not really.
I think that's a very important point, Once you graduate into this surgery, the complication rate is hardly any in these procedures. So you really don't have to worry about complication, because if they are there also, they can be managed very effectively.